Today we'll be doing the first video on the build of this 87 Chevy K10. And what we're going to be doing is kind of give an overview of it, kind of what all we've done to it, some of what we plan to do to it, and then just kind of the condition it's in, because this is one of the cleaner trucks like this we found and been able to buy. But we picked this truck up probably about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, and it actually came with this truck. It had a bed on it. We got 2 other beds with it and a parts truck, which was like a 82 long bed. It was a diesel truck, but it didn't have a motor in it. But it's kind of rough, but it's just a parts truck. But anyway, getting into this truck, you can tell we've got some of the front end pieces off of it. We got the hood. Went ahead and took the grill, headlight buckets out in the front bumper, which I was going to get ready to take it down to the other shop, but we kind of got pretty busy down there, so I wasn't able to take it down there. But this hood here, we noticed it's an aftermarket hood on this truck. We was going to go back with an original hood, so you get a lot better fit out of them. And
they're a lot stiffer when you try to close them. Sometimes the aftermarket hoods, they'll like to bow right in the center there, and it'll kind of bend them a little bit, but
not as bad on these models. But the 73 to 980, something like that, I forgot I think it's 80.
80, yeah.
The hood springs, how they're set up, they'll bow in the middle. These are better, but they still will bow. But ended up taking this inner fender off this side too. As you can see here, it's pretty, got some rot in it. Other side's about like that, it ain't as bad. But we've already got 2 new inner fenders over there for it. But as far as the front end, you can see there's some clear coming off of it.
Yeah, the whole truck's been painted probably early 90s, something like that. Late 90s,
yeah,
maybe.
Probably. I think it's been painted one time, possibly twice. Now the bed, when we get to the bed, I'll explain more about it. But you know, these trucks are bad to rust right through here on the window post here. But this one, it's got a little surface rust. It's not bad right now, but we'll get it down there and get the glass out. Should be a pretty easy fix there with that. Alright, getting into the inside of this truck, which is one of the main reasons why we ended up buying it, because, well, just look here. It does squeak, but all these trucks do, the doors. Anyway, I'm sure this seat's been recovered before, but it's still very clean. Let me get to the other side.
And somebody has also ran the carpet up the back of the cab here. This isn't factory, but I mean, it don't look terrible. We'll probably leave it just cause, I kind of like it.
Because if this wasn't carpet, it'd just be
bright red, the color of the jam and the dash. But
anyway, speaking of the dash, this pad or this towel that's been on here has saved the pad and
it probably since it's been new, but
more than likely it's had this is not the original pad.
But it's very rare you find one of these trucks without the dash completely shattered. Cracked. Well, shattered. Shout out to my 2nd gen owners out there, but
okay. The metal part of the dash, there's a few holes drilled in it. I'm thinking there's a CB mount or something in there, but I don't know exactly the extent. We're gonna go inside here. I mean, as far as the truck, we're just gonna leave the inside original.
Probably put the original steering wheel back on it.
Yeah, that's a 88 to 98 steering wheel on there. But I'll probably put a new cluster panel in there.
The chrome parts here.
You get all that plastic, all that with that.
Probably factory radio.
Probably
stuff like
put
that.
The new chrome, or not chrome, but brushed piece here. Now the door panels on this thing was said earlier, well, I don't know if I said it or not. This truck's a Silverado, which these trucks came in 3 packages. Should be Custom Deluxe, Scottsdale, and Silverado. So Silverado would be top of the line in this year. So it's got the carpeted there around the door handle, and it's also got the lower door carpets. But as far as these, we're gonna leave this all factory original like it is.
We'll just go back and respray the original color on the door panels, or re-dye them.
I don't know if we'll do that or get another set. That K5, we put new ones in there, and when you buy the new ones now, you have to actually cut all this out. It don't come pre-cut. Well, the ones we got didn't.
Yeah, you got to cut your door handle, and if you got power locks and power windows, you got to cut all that out to fit the original bezels, whatever you want to call them in there.
Yeah, but other than that, headliner, we didn't mention, the headliner's in perfect condition, perfect shape. The visors here, usually these are like greasy and stuff where people got their fingerprints all over them. They don't have nothing on it. Well, that's about it. The interior, like I said, that door does shut good compared to a lot of these trucks. They'll supposed to have a plastic
Boot, I guess you'd call it.
like a, I don't know what to call it, plastic piece on the latch here, the striker, and that's supposed to help it shut. This one don't have it. It still shuts better than most of these trucks. While we're with the bed of the truck here, as you can see, it don't have a bed on it. The bed was actually hit. We have the side over here. I'll show you here. I believe the owner said the guy we got it from, this truck was ran over with something. I think it's semi truck. I'm not for sure. I rolled into it or something, but it completely smashed this end. And you can actually buy the ends of these beds like this, and we would have done that, but it got all the inner structure in there, and you can't get any of that for these beds. You can barely find these bed sides. You also notice here we don't have a left fuel tank on here. It was like that when we got it too. We actually got one over there.
Yeah, all 87s come with dual tanks, and especially if you put ethanol gas in them, they're bad about rotting the fuel lines in them.
Yeah.
And yeah,
if you don't drive them a lot.
Yeah, if you don't drive
them, you don't worry about it. But if they sit
like this one had been, then
if you have ethanol in there, it'll clog up the sending unit stuff, and it won't pump fuel to it.
So that's why this tank's out. We
just had to put one back in, and we're going to respray all this, the frame and stuff. So I'm not going to put it in until after that.
Probably end up dropping that tank over there too, just to spray underneath the cab and the rest of the frame.
Bed was hit. It was actually pushed the bed into the back of the cab. You don't see it as bad on this side, but that side, that bed was, or that side was hit on. You can see it there. It's got a decent dent in it, but we'll end up fixing that when we do the cab, which I didn't mention earlier. We're going to be putting cab corners in this, and we'll be patching the rockers. They don't need full rockers in it. Just little, like barely a couple inches of them are rotted through. This side I think is the worst. Little spot right here, we'll just put a section of that rocker in there because most of it's still solid. And the bed of the truck here, or the frame of it, you can see somebody's painted this before, like some kind of undercoating sprayed on it. We'll sand all this down and end up spraying it some kind of a chassis black on it. It's got a good shine to it. Oh yeah, and the back glass, it's got sliding back glass in it, which I said before, we're gonna pull all glass out of this truck. We'll be swapping this out with flat back glass. I hate these sliding back glasses.
Yeah, the flat back glass is just a more of an overall cleaner look.
Yeah.
These were real popular back when these trucks were new, and a lot of them were option for the sliding back glass. Don't know why, but
we also put wheel cylinders in the back here. They were leaking. I think that one's the worst because it was dripping down on the tire.
Yeah.
We swapped them out.
As you can see, they're not leaking anymore. So maybe we fix it.
Get back to the bed on this truck. The bed's not on it. That's because being body worked. Right when we got this truck, we tried to find a right bedside like that with a square hole, fuel hole in it, which would be
87 and 86 if you option for the dual tanks in 86, but they came standard on the 87s.
Yeah, we tried to find one of those things for probably a year before we ended up cutting one off another truck we had out here that we were going to end up, we didn't really know what we were going to do with it at that time, so we ended up taking it off, put it on here. We'll cut to the clip of that. It's the bed floor being primed after the two sides have already been body work and primed, I think twice. But anyway, we'll cut to that.
Alright, as you can see, this is the bed for the truck here, and today it's actually getting primed.
It is. Finally, after about 5 or 6 months off and on of working on just the inside of this bed, it's time to get it primed today. As you can tell, the whole bed, floor, the sides, the front's been worked. A lot of hours been put in here. And you may be wondering why this side's blue and the other side is red. As you know, the truck's red, but at the time we couldn't buy a bedside for these because they wouldn't make them at the time. So we ended up taking this side off of a blue truck that we had that was wrecked on that side, and this side needed a little bit of work on it, but it turned out to be all right. And as far as the sides go, they were probably worked about a year ago, and this is the second priming on them, so they'll probably be sanded one more time and primed and be ready to paint. So other than that, I'm about to get this thing taped up and ready to shoot. As far as what we're going to be spraying on here, our first coat will be this DP90. It's by PPG. As you can tell, everything in here we spray is PPG. And what we're going to be using this as is a sealer to put over the bare metal, or we'll end up spraying the whole bed, but we don't typically like to prime directly over bare metal, so we're going to use this to lay it down or spray it first. And our second coat, we'll be using this Marhide primer. It's a good sanding primer. It's a good building. Builds good. You sand it pretty easily. Some places ain't as easy to sand as others, but you'll have that with.
You'll have that on them big jobs.
Yeah. All right, I got the DP90 mixed up here. As I mentioned earlier, it was a sealer, but it can also be used as a metal etch.
Yeah, it chemically bonds to the metal,
which then helps the primer stick better and gets a better finish at the end. Got the DP90 sprayed on here, turned out good, and we're about to start shooting the sanding primer on there, so we'll get to it. off, I didn't mention in that other video when we primed the inside of the bed, the bed sides, the one that we left that was original on this truck, when I was stripping it down back about a couple years ago, that thing had probably 3 or 4 layers of paint on it and primer, where somebody had, I don't know, looked like they painted it about 4 times. We're hoping the cab and the front end is not like that. We're already going to swap the hoods out, so I'm not too worried about the hood. But I hope this thing does not have
layers
of paint on it. But you never know with these until you start sanding. Once you get down so far, I mean, there ain't nothing you can do but do it right. So I've took a magnet and went around most of this truck though too, with a body filler in it. It seems pretty straight. I didn't find any in there. I'm sure there is, but it was thin enough for where you couldn't be able to tell it was in there. So other than that, we'll get to the engine of this truck. Like we said earlier, this is a 87, which is the first year these trucks are fuel injected. None of the other ones were, they're all carbureted. As far as this goes, we're just going to leave this motor in it. If it was another truck or another year truck, we might do something different, but this being an 87, we're going to leave it just fuel injected like this, and just repaint all this stuff and clean it up real good, and probably put a new radiator in it. But as far as our plans for this truck, it is a 4-wheel drive. I don't think I said that earlier, but you can tell with the tires on and how it was set up. But we are going to lift this truck. Don't know exactly how high yet, but I don't know. I like to fit a wheel and tire about like what's on this truck under it.
It won't be small, we'll say that.
It won't be small. I don't want to give too much away yet either, but I'd like to still keep a kind of a surprise. But as far as the truck itself, it's going to be back original. The cab and the interior and under hood will all be original. Back red, everything like it is, and just lift, wheels and tires will be different. Now we're hoping 5 to 6 months from now with it, because when we done the bed, I mean, it felt like you spend as much, if not more, time on just the bed itself than you can the cab, because it's a lot of area in there.
Yeah, there's a lot more area in and outside that bed than you think there is.
Yeah, and it's not just, it is flat, but it's like it's in cracks and stuff. It's hard to sand, it's hard to get to, so I'm hoping once we get this truck down to the body shop and start going on it, it should go a lot quicker than the bed itself. And I've already got everything in at least one priming. The sides have been primed twice. The bed floor has been primed once, but we're gonna get it primed again. Probably do the sides again, so everything will be primed at least twice. And get the truck down there. You know, we'll get started on it. You know, hopefully break this truck out this fall.
Yeah, we've got a couple shows picked out. We're gonna try to make it to, and just gonna hope we can do it.
Yep. All right. With that being said, well, if you haven't already, check out some of our other videos. We done one on this truck. It's an 05 Silverado, 9-inch McGaw's lift on a 22x14 American Forces, 37-inch tires, and then that truck we built it. We actually got that done with that truck about a year ago from now. It's an 03 lowered
5.7 Beltec.
Yeah, 5.7 Beltec, 22-inch snowflake reps. That was a full, both these trucks are full paint and body. We done everything to them down there. So, anyway, that being said, we're gonna wrap this one up. I mean, I don't know how many videos it's gonna take this truck, but we're gonna be filming all of it this time, unlike these two, which, well, we're getting better at it, hopefully. So, something else we didn't mention, this truck being a square body, excluding our next video, but the ones after that, it's gonna be a lot of square body stuff, because a lot of stuff we do is dealing with these kind of trucks. So
yeah, we're big square body people.
if you're into that stuff, we're gonna be doing a lot of
Just a little bit of everything, really.
Yeah, really a little bit of everything with square body. So
If you like square bodies, just hang around.
We'll have a lot more stuff coming that way. So all right, well, that's just about to wrap this truck up, and it's gonna be a multiple video build. I mean, it's gonna take us at least every bit of 4 to 5 months, 6 months. So just with stuff like this, if that's all you do in the evenings and stuff, it's going to take some time. We'll get started on this and get this thing rolling, and we'll see you on the next one.